Welcome in. I don't know about you, but if I haven't exercised, so what we have done in this period that we have rebuilt ourselves, we haven't been so good at exercise. We've been good at stretching, but not so good at exercise to really push the body. And sometimes that feels so good. We have missed that. We were the other day, 2 days ago now. Yesterday, my body was probably just in shock of what we did. So it sort of didn't occur to it until today, which is 1 day later, that, we haven't done that in a while. And it feels so good. Like our body is just, it's the best endorphins that free can buy, or something like that. You can get that for free, it's just about using the body. And there are things that you can do with your body that is free, but that requires some awareness before you can actually do it. And hi, by the way, if you're new to this channel, we are channeling here, and we are calibrating so many different topics back into resonance with energetic truth. Energetic truth is, of course, just a word, but we are trying to explain the mechanisms of the human body it's pretty much the mastery of being a human. That's really what we're talking about. And that goes for being able to change habits, be able to be able to see where you're at, be able to self-assess so that you don't rely and project your power onto other beings all the time. That's the major thing in the dualistic perspective that is sort of going on in the, you call it lower realms. It's the body. It's what's going on for the body. Like, hello, don't be so high up and mighty in your spiritual land that you can't come down to the ground and feel your body. Because that's the only way that you can actually follow your light here. It is coming through the body, through this mundane lower level, as if it's below you. Like, there are so many crazy distortions of the ego mind. Sometimes you feel a little bit like Eckhart Tolle. We really used to love listening to Eckhart Tolle because he just made sense, and he made fun of it. No, we are Kenneth Berenson. Completely unique snowflake, speck of snowflake, expressing who we are in the way that it comes out, and then we course correct if we feel like it. Not if someone else tells us, but it's helpful to hear from someone else. And then if there's reasoning, we feel the resonance from Gaia through this being, if they're coming from authenticity. That's what we're following. We're not following what the being is saying. That is projecting power. We're not here to project power. We're here to maintain our sovereignty inside. And that is not what is happening with your bodies usually. Because there's a lot of habits that be the way that things are run, the way that we always do it, the way that everything has always been, and all of those types of viruses. They're viruses. Keep it inside the family, or keep everything no, open up and experience life outside of the family bubble. It's seen almost like virtuous to just stay, like just be, you know, it's good to be proud of who you are, but there is also something called arrogance. And just know where you're sitting in all of these different human expressions, right? And you know, this is the thing. This is why you can do it yourself. Is because you know what you're doing. The main being with most light workers is that they have associated being nice with being spiritual. Many. Because you're doing good. You are doing good by giving of yourself, of course. But if you overgive, that's also an imbalance. There are many different imbalances that can happen inside of a human configuration. But you have to include the energy. Otherwise, you are only in the mind. And you can't figure out the truth from there. You can only figure it out through sort of observing more and taking in more. And that means listening to what's actually going on, what's being spoken, feeling the sentiment of that as well, so that you know what's going on for the body. Because if the speech is one way and the energy feels like push, that's control. And someone that is used to controlling to get their will, perhaps. There are so many ways that the energy is attempted to be hijacked. And it's sort of like, oh yeah, it's just the empath and the narcissist. Like there are so many stories even there about that. But once you know what it is very clearly, it is just a distorted, someone that doesn't know what they're doing versus someone that does see but caters to it. So what is the remedy? Empower the ones that usually the empath, so that the empath can become empowered, not to dominate and to get back at, although sometimes that can be, no. Well, yeah, actually, in truth, sometimes some beings, it's like, they don't know what they do, right? And this is the awakening of consciousness. There will always be that. This is how we work. This is how we ascend. Because there will be a projection. There will be some form of this that you will have to go through at some point in your life. And sometimes it doesn't look exactly like this being. Sometimes it's not just one major event, although it can be. Depends on how long you have done the opposite and gone out of your north compass, right? It really depends. And with this overgiving stuff, we went too many years just doing that. It got us into so much trouble energetically that we finally got shown really, really clear. It was so clear that it was like either something terrible is going to happen to me, we could feel this, or I course correct my life now to what I know to be true and become really stubborn in that. And that's what we did. And the main turning point was this channeling, and they made themselves perfectly clear what is them that we've heard them all along. It was just mixed with all these other thoughts of like craziness, worth, all of these patterns that they can come up again. But then no, if they do, it's your job to inject some massaging of those energies so that they become a little bit looser, so that you move them along, so that you be done with the dualistic perspective, so that you can finally be who you are here. That's how we create harmony on this planet. But we have to agree on what this is. Unless we can agree on what this is, we have nothing to talk about. Because if we're just going to talk for the sake of talking from the mind, and then the bodies are like, have just done it for too long and doesn't want to talk to certain people because they're just stealing energy or manipulating. And then if you're not honest about it and sharing that and getting to the bottom of these like idiotic things that seems to be going out there, it's not just to ignore that, but it's to know how you alchemize those things inside, how you work with this, is to align to the correct perspective of what it is that you're seeing. That is the code. That is the holy chalice. That when you unlock that, you become the holy chalice. Like that's the thing. Unlock this and you become the holy chalice. Because it is like one of these big locks to open up like one of these vaults in these big banks. It's sort of like that. And you have to go this and that and throw in the other and like, but it's even more complex than that. Sort of. Before you know it, of course. Because whenever you know something, it becomes easier and easier and easier. It is just like riding a bicycle. Human ascension is just like riding a bicycle. All of these things that come up, all that is needed is to inject the balancing out of each of those things. Each of those distortions, because distortions in the body equals distortions in the mind at somewhere, right? And that's what we're doing here. We are course correcting all of these misperceptions so that we are calibrating the system to energetic truth, which means that the knower and the feeler, which is the mind, intellect, and the body, which is the 3 upper chakras and the 3 lower chakras. And when you have harmonized those two, what do you think will happen? There will be more energy and your heart is open. That's when you are granted more light. And it happens gradually, one day at a time. It can't happen all at once. It happens gradually, one perception shift at a time. That is why we are suggesting to start these 28 days of consciousness shift and to continue them. Because each one will tackle certain things, and then the next level will tackle other things from other areas, perhaps also some of those things, whatever comes up in whatever way, and so that we course correct continuously. And each level are dealing with certain shifts because of what this being is going through and his evolution with our teaching. That is what these are. They are the demonstration of how to ascend in frequency and land more light as an ascended master. You're calling it, what we are calling it, is more to be a fully landed human being. You must master this. To get your art skyrocketing, you must master this. To get aligned with your intuition, to see the next step, you must align to this. You don't have to learn through us. No. But what we are speaking of, you must align to it, because this is the truth of human energy. And that's what we're teaching here. And then that always needs to go step by step, because if you are receiving too much information too soon, it does not really compute. And it's like there's no knobs to hang stuff on yet. So what we are building is the knowledge first. And for that, sometimes you just have to listen to them, even if you don't understand completely everything that's going on. Or maybe you do, which is wonderful. That shows your level of comprehension already. That's a wonderful thing. But when we started with the Course in Miracles, we didn't understand anything. And these are the continuations and the deepening of A Course in Miracles. This is how you do it in practice. It does take some time because of the nature of these cycles, and there needs to be some practice and some failing so that you get what failing is, so that you can know how you actually big the scale. And that is really when your whole system gets turned on. There are different levels. Like when it's sort of like a dam. When you remove enough rocks, there's just enough pressure. It's just going to blow up the whole dam, and just there's more energy. It's like that. That's the process that we are doing inside of these 28-day shifts. Each day, one step at a time, one thing at a time, whatever is alive at that time. And then we shift and we correct. And usually what happens then, when you get enough of these corrections, then the body starts to either be sleepy. That's just that body needs to recalibrate because it's new information. And then the body adjusts, and then it's ready for more. That's why it's always a continuation. And sometimes some of these are good to repeat a few times to integrate them further. But keep going, because this is a continuation up in frequency, so that you can house a bigger energy that is yours, that is not leaching onto other beings anymore. We are showing you how this all works, how to determine, how to see all of this, which we are also discussing in this YouTube channel. You can absolutely watch all of our videos, and you'll gain a lot of information there as well. But the channelings are where it's at. Which we do every day, which we do here as well. So it's a lot of channeling. What else? What else? This is what happens when you have gotten to a certain level. Then the body receives more light. That is what happened just now. There is more energy coming through because there was an opening of all of the chakras, all the way down to Gaia. And we could feel it in our belly because we have reversed that. We are not going out there. We know how to maneuver this. It is a requirement to really be thriving in the years to come, let's just say. And we know that many of you are trying to get it. And you will get it eventually. We are giving you a helping hand so that you can get there a bit faster. We're sending you so much love and so much blessings. You're blessed beings. Take care, and we'll see you again in the next one. Ciao.